Hello children, I'm your English language teacher and today we're going to learn about if conditional clauses. Okay children, now let us see these sentences. If I go to market, I'll buy some mangoes. If they listen to us, we will convince them. The owner will ask us to vacate the house if we don't pay the rent. Children, in all these three sentences, I think you might have noticed that there are two clauses in each sentence. In the first sentence, if I go to market is one clause and the other clause, I'll buy some mangoes. Similarly, if they listen to us is one clause, we will convince them the other clause. Even in the last sentence, the owner will ask us to vacate the house is one clause. If we don't pay the rent is the other clause. So now what we have understood, all these three sentences have two clauses in them. In that, the underlined ones, in each sentence, the underlined clauses are called conditional clauses. What are they called? Conditional clauses. Why are they called conditional clauses? Because they have a condition in them. Let us see. If I go to market, I'll buy some mangoes. When will the speaker buy mangoes? Only when he goes to market. So to buy mangoes, first of all, he has to go to market. He is planning. He's just thinking of going to market and buying some mangoes. So what is the condition here to buy the mangoes? To buy mangoes? Yes. First the speaker has to go to market. Then only he will buy some mangoes. Here going to market is the condition and buying mangoes is the result. And he will buy mangoes only when he goes to market. If he goes, he will buy mangoes. If he doesn't go, he will not buy mangoes. Now let us see the second sentence. If they listen to us, we will convince them. When the speakers will be able to convince them? Only when they listen to them. So here the condition. First, they should listen to them. Then only the speakers will be able to convince them. So here the condition is they should listen to them first. If that condition is satisfied, then we will have the result. What is the result here? They will convince those people. And the last sentence. The owner will ask us to vacate the house if we don't pay the rent. When will the owner ask us to vacate the house? Only when we don't pay the rent. If we pay the rent, he will not ask us to vacate the house. So here, if the owner has to ask us to vacate the house, if the owner wants, when will the owner ask us to vacate the house? Only when we don't pay the rent. So the condition is not paying the rent. Then only he will be able to ask us to vacate the house. If we pay, he will not ask us to vacate the house. That is why all these three underlined clauses are called conditional clauses. All these conditional clauses contain some condition in them. If that condition is satisfied, we will get some result. So we will get the result only when the condition is satisfied. This is called first conditional. It is called first conditional. And we use first conditional if clauses when things are likely to happen upon satisfying the condition. If a condition is satisfied, then we will definitely have the result. Chances are 50-50. If condition is satisfied, we will get the result. If condition is not satisfied, we are not going to get the result. So this kind of situations are expressed using first conditional if clauses. And children, now look at the verbs in each sentence. In the first sentence, there are two clauses. So we will have two verbs. What are they? Go and will buy. In the second sentence, yes, you're right. Listen and will convince. In the third sentence, will ask and don't pay. And see the common thing in all the three verb structures. In each and every sentence, you might have noticed in if conditional clause, the verb is V1, and in main clause, the verb is will plus V1, means future, simple future. In if conditional clause, the verb is simple present, and in main clause, the verb is simple future. So the first conditional, when we are using the first conditional if clauses, then the verb structure should be like this. In if clause, the verb should be either V1 or V1s. In other words, simple present. The tense is simple present. In the main clause, will plus V1, that is simple future. So till now, we have seen the first conditional sentences. Now, let us learn about the second condition. See the sentence. If I had a scooter, I'd give you a lift. If I had a scooter, I would give you a lift. What does it mean? I don't have a scooter and I can't give you a lift. So what the speaker is doing here, he's just imagining. He's imagining a situation where he had a scooter and then he would give you a lift. The speaker doesn't have any scooter, nor can he give any lift to any person, but simply he is imagining, if I had a scooter, I would give you a lift. So this kind of sentences are called second conditional sentences. Means we use second conditional clauses to talk about impossible or unreal or imaginary situations. Here in the given case, the speaker doesn't have any scooter. So, is it possible for him to give some lift to anyone? No, it's not possible. It's not going to be real, but it is just an imaginary situation. He's just expressing his wish. I don't have a scooter, but if I have a scooter, I will give you a lift. That is what he said. If I had a scooter, I would give you a lift. So, to talk about impossible or unreal or imaginary situations, we use second conditional if clauses. Let us see a few more sentences. If you said sorry, I would forgive you. Can you guess the meaning of this sentence? If you said sorry, I would forgive you. So, this is also second conditional sentence. And we have learned second conditional sentences are used to express unreal or imaginary situations. So here, the second person saying sorry is just imaginary and he's forgiving also. So, what does it mean altogether then? You never say sorry and I'm not going to forgive you. If you said sorry, I would forgive you. Here the speaker intention is that the second person will never say sorry and the speaker will also not forgive him. If I were a superman, I would fly into the sky. Here, this is also an imaginary situation. Here the speaker just expressing his wish to be a superman. If I were a superman, I would fly into the sky. Means I'm not a superman in reality and I'm not going to fly into the sky. That is the fact. But he is expressing his wish. If I were a superman, I would fly into the sky. So, such imaginary situations or impossible situations are expressed using second conditional if clauses. Now, let us see the verb structure in the second conditional if clauses. And we should not forget, in these sentences, we have two clauses in every sentence. One is if clause, another one is main clause. So in the first sentence, what is the verb? Two clauses. So two verbs should be there. Like that in all the given sentences, see the verbs are. In the first sentence, had, and another one would give. In the second sentence, said, another one would forgive. In the third sentence, were, another one would fly. If you notice, in all the if clauses, verbs are V2s, past forms, simple past. Had, V2 form of have or has. Said, V2 form of say. Were, V2 form of are. And in main clause, what will be the verb? What is the verb? Would give. Would plus V1. So, while using second conditional sentences, we must see that the structure should be like this. In if clause, the verb should be V2, and in main clause, the verb should be would plus V1. And children, uh, adding not is optional. According to the given situation, sometimes we need to make a negative expression. Then we add not. Here in after would, instead of would plus V1, we use would not V1. Here also in place of V2, you may use didn't V1. So here, uh, check whether you can identify second conditional clauses. How do you identify second conditional clauses? Yes, you must see the verb in both the clauses. In the first sentence, what is the verb? Had and would give. Is it second conditional or not? Yes, it is second conditional. If my brother makes a promise, he will never break it. Makes V1S, but we need V2. This is not second conditional. This is first conditional that we have already learned. And third one, you will earn easily if you focus a little more. Here also, it is not the second conditional. They would have noticed. We want would plus V1, but here would have V3 is there. So that is not. So if you see, sixth one again is the second conditional. Thus, if I had a scooter, I would give you a lift. Means I don't have a scooter, and of course I cannot give you a lift. Sixth one, if I paid you, I would not request you. Means I didn't pay you, that is why I am requesting you now. If I paid you, I would not request you. It is just an imaginary situation. Hope you understood the second conditional. Now see the third conditional. What is this third conditional? See the sentence. If we had started early, we would have caught the bus. Do you think that they started early? No. There is one conditional. If we had started early, we would have caught the bus. Means here the speaker is telling that they did not start early, and so they didn't even catch the bus. This is a past action. If we had started early, we would have caught the bus. Actual meaning is we did not start early, and so we did not catch the bus. Already happened situation, past situation. Second sentence. If you had not helped me, I would have fallen on roads. If you had not helped me, an imagination, I would have fallen on roads. When the speaker would fall on roads, when the second person didn't help him. But here he helped. You helped me, so I didn't fall on roads. That is, using if conditional, how would we express? If you had not helped me, I would have fallen on roads. But the other person helped the speaker, and so the speaker didn't need to fall on roads. If she had seen us, she would have noticed us. Means, can you guess? Yes, she didn't see us, and she even didn't notice us. First of all, she should see, no, she did not see them, and so she didn't notice them. So from all these three examples, what we can understand, these are third conditional sentences, and we use third conditional sentences to talk about unrealized past situations. We talk about past situations that were not realized, they were not accomplished. If we had started early, did they start early? No, they didn't start early. We would have caught the bus. Did they catch bus? No, they didn't catch the bus. So Here we are talking about a past situation where the condition was not satisfied and the results were also not obtained. Condition was not satisfied and the result was also not obtained. This is third condition. And see the verb. What is the verb structure? Had started, would have caught. Had not helped, would have fallen. Had seen, would have noticed. So, in if clause, had plus V3, in main clause would have V3. Adding not is optional, I told you already. Optional in the sense, if the given sentences, the situations demand, we use not. Otherwise, usually we don't use. So now it's time for you to identify the third conditional sentences. You have already learned in third conditional sentences, in if clause, we have had plus V3, past perfect, and in main clause we have would have V3. Like that, you should identify the third conditional sentences. And then we can see here such third conditional sentence. If you hadn't come, I would have gone to library. If you had not come, you came, so I didn't go to library. If you had not come, I would have gone to library. Had V3, would have V3. Next, you would have burnt your fingers if I had not seen. I saw, so you didn't burn your fingers. But if I had not seen, you would have burnt your fingers. And even the fourth sentence also is a third conditional sentence. They would have noticed us if we had not hidden behind the pawn shop. We hid ourselves behind the pawn shop, so they didn't notice us. But if we had not hidden behind the pawn shop, they would have noticed us. Thus, using third conditional clauses, we talk about past unrealized situations or unrealized past situations where condition is not satisfied and the result is also not obtained. First condition talks about a future action, future situations. In that, if condition is satisfied, we will get the result. If condition is not satisfied, we won't get the result. That is future action. Second conditional sentences, we talk about impossible or imaginary actions. They are not going to take place at all. They never happen. They are just imaginary actions. And the third conditional all about past situations where conditions were not satisfied and results were not obtained. And apart from these three conditionals, there is also another condition which is called zero conditional sentences. So what is that zero condition? Let us see. Now see this sentence. If you meet Ravi, tell him that I have received his parcel. Here the speaker is asking someone to tell Ravi that he has received his parcel. But when the other person will tell him? Only when he meets Ravi. If you meet Ravi, tell him that I have received his parcel. So what is this actually? It is an imperative. Imperative, imperative means It can be a request, order, or an instruction. See the second one. If you boil water at 100 degrees Celsius, it evaporates. What is it? This sentence is actually a scientific fact. It's a scientific fact. If you boil water at 100 degrees Celsius, naturally what happens? It evaporates. If he works hard, he succeeds. What is this? Everybody knows. It's a common universal truth, or it is a general truth. So like this, we use zero conditional sentences to talk about situations that contain general truths, which are also called universal truths, scientific facts, or imperatives. And now you just observe the verbs in both and if and main clauses of those sentences. In first sentence, in if clause the verb is meet, in the second sentence the verb is tell. In the second clause the verb is tell. Now come to the next sentence. In if clause the verb is boil, in main clause the verb is evaporates. And in the last sentence, works and succeeds. What have you noticed here? Yes, both in if clause and main clause the tense is same, simple present, V1 or V1s. So we use zero conditional sentences to talk about situations that contain general truths or scientific facts or even imperatives. So with this zero conditional, we have completed learning about conditional sentences. First conditional, second conditional, third conditional, and zero conditional sentences.